Hi everyone. This is a video about the men's physique division, specifically for the pro men's physique athletes and competitors. So as a lot of you guys are aware, we've been taking the men's physique pros heights and weights down at the last couple of shows. The reason for this video is because we want to give a heads up to all of our athletes and our coaches that after the Olympia this year, we will be instituting heights and weight limits for our men's physique pros, not amateurs, just the pros. This will go into effect for the first show after the Olympia this year. How would we do this? We've had great success with our heights and weights in classic physique so far. We want to make sure that our men's physique athletes are not getting too big. This is very important because that's almost like the go-to saying for a lot of people online that just see the pictures of the shows, really not seeing them in person, but seeing the pictures of the shows and saying a lot of the men's physique athletes are getting too big. Now, we'll go over some stuff later in this video. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of guys that have been doing well recently are not getting too big. But having height and weight limits on these guys will help us control that size. And just so you guys know, the weight limits for your height will be under, obviously, the classic physique weight limits. So these next couple months, if you guys are over, or a lot over, or just a little over the classic physique weight limits, you should be keeping track of your weight, and if you need to, start to downsize a little, because while the weights aren't set yet, they will be lower than the classic weights. That's why we're going to continue to height and weight the men's physique pros at most of the shows this year to get data to help us set the final weights. Giving heights and weights to these athletes is a solution, but it's not the perfect solution, because someone can be the same height and the same weight but carry their weight a lot differently. Another important part of this is adhering to our judging criteria and our standards for men's physique, which so far this year, I think we've done a really good job of. I want to highlight a lot of the athletes that have competed this year to let you guys know that this is what you should be looking for when you look at men's physique pros and what we want to see. It's also to show you that even though these guys are some of the best guys in the league, they still all have little points of feedback that differ depending on their physique. One guy that competed earlier this year that I want to highlight before getting into a couple different shows that just happened the past few weeks is Emmanuel. Won the show in Tennessee, probably the best he ever looked, but he has a great men's physique look. You know, his arms and shoulders flow well with his torso. He has a great back. His upper chest, could come up a little bit to match the rest of his chest to give him more symmetry. And basically, he has to nail his conditioning. He has to work on that. But great guy to look for a men's physique look. Very dangerous guy, heading into the Olympia later this year. I want to highlight the top 4 at the Pittsburgh Pro. A couple guys have been competing at a ton of shows that were in it. So first of all, we had Corey Morris there. Corey has improved a ton, I think, on his look over the last few years. Nothing on his torso needs to change. He has a small waist, great chest, full chest. His back has come up considerably, but his feedback that he's gotten for a while now, and it's still his feedback, is his arms and shoulders. He still has to work on bringing them down a little bit more, for men's physique. So even though Corey looked amazing, it's the best he ever looked in Pittsburgh, he knows that going into the Olympia, to really be a threat, he has to keep working on bringing down those arms and shoulders. Just to touch on mostly everybody I'm talking about from taking heights and weights the last few weeks, these guys would make the new weights that I'm considering right now for men's physique. So that's another reason why I'm highlighting them. Not only do they look the part, but they would also make the new weights, most of them, or they're very close to it. So after Corey, we had Ryan Terry at Pittsburgh. Ryan looked way better in New York than in Pittsburgh, so I'll use his New York look. He has a very balanced physique. He's always had a great men's physique look, a very balanced physique, exactly what we're looking for. He still needs a little bit more thickness in his back to really make his back pop the same way as his front. Obviously, he knows from the Olympia until now, his posing has gotten way better, but he still needs to work on his posing and nail his posing, especially his back pose when he gets to the Olympia, and to be a threat to obviously Aaron and Brandon, just like a lot of these guys I'm listing want to be. These 3 guys right here, Emmanuel, Corey, and Ryan, brought great looks so far, but it's not just them. In Pittsburgh, Ben Quill has competed a lot this year. He won a show. He's qualified. He brings a great look for men's physique too. He still needs a little bit more to his chest. He can use a little bit more pop to his back, but I think that will come when he brings it in his conditioning more. But his feedback has nothing to do with his arms and shoulders or really getting denser. He needs to fill out the chest a little bit more, but his look is also a great men's physique look with his taper and everything else that he brings, his aesthetic look. The last one in the top 4 that did Pittsburgh and New York was City. Once again, a guy that that brought a great look for men's physique with great conditioning. The main factor on him that he really needs to fix is posing. He poses himself out of how good he can look. I know because after New York, I got the chance to talk to him and work with him. And I think he's going to be bringing a look later this year, you know, an even better look for men's physique when he's posing correctly. All these guys that I just mentioned would most likely make the new weights for men's physique. They have a good men's physique look. New York Pro top 4. Obviously, we covered Ryan and we covered City already. Vitor, who's done New York, and I'm sure is going to do a couple more shows in these coming weeks. He has an overall good look for men's physique. His arms and shoulders aren't overpowering his torso. He just really needs to a little bit work on the chest and make his torso flow, his overall physique flow a little bit better, but still an overall very good men's physique look. He was just outside the top 10 last year at the Olympia, got better with posing. Daniel looked much better this past weekend at the Palmetto Pro. But still, again, for Daniel, he has a great men's physique look, a great flow to his physique. For him, it's his arms. He has to bring his arms down a little bit more. He's a smaller guy with a smaller torso. So your arms and your shoulders, too, the size of them all depend on how your torso is. So some of these guys get that feedback that they can still come down. A lot of the guys I mentioned, if I didn't mention their arms on coming down, they don't need to bring their arms and their shoulders up. They're not getting bulkier. They're not going for a more bodybuilding look. At the Palmetto this past weekend, Drew, who took second there, did a great job. He came with a great men's physique look from the front. His back has come up a lot, but once again, this is a guy that looked great. And why do I mention all these guys is because if today or whenever they were on stage, if we asked them to go do a front double bicep next to these athletes that are doing well in our classic pro shows, there would be a major difference. And it's no offense to the men's physique guys because that's how it should be. They would look out of place next to better classic guys. They don't have the same density, they don't have the same muscularity, and that's what we want. That's what these heights and weights will keep helping us accomplish, which is getting that aesthetic men's physique look that we want to have. Lastly, just want to make a point going off, what everybody has said about men's physique, and it's changed so much and everything else. If you go back and look at 2017, the only thing that's really changed since then is a lot of these guys' backs have gotten better. In the men's divisions, when you increase your V-taper, that's going to help your physique look better. Doesn't matter which division it's in. And that's really been the evolution of men's physique since then. The arms and the shoulders really haven't come up much. We have 3 guys from the top 6 that year are still competing a lot. Obviously, Ryan, but we have Brandon, who's won multiple Olympias since then. Andre Ferguson. These guys still bring men's physique looks. They've evolved, by bringing better backs, increasing their tapers, but really if you go look, the arm and shoulder size, the density size, overall their physiques has not changed really that much. And I brought up 2017 because people think that was almost like a golden age of men's physique. Jeremy Buendia, our Olympia champion from that year, is coming back this year. I'm almost certain that he would know his arms and shoulders, his chest, they really don't need to come up. The only thing that he needs to have improved since then to be competitive with all these guys today is to work on his back. It's not like you need added size since then. It's just about increasing the back, which a lot of these guys' backs have gotten very, very good since then. That's the evolution of men's physique, and honestly, that still keeps a sleek aesthetic look. The standard of men's physique is in a very good place. These heights and weights are going to help keep it under control. Overall, it's going to be a really, really good thing for the division. We're planning to announce the heights and the weights about 2 months before the Olympia. So any athletes that are planning to do shows right after the Olympia, they will have plenty of time to know what weight they need to get down to. That just about covers it. Please give this video a like if you guys appreciate the content, and please leave a comment and let me know if you guys would like to have some short videos like this in the future, announcing certain things or going over certain things for divisions. I'm going to start to try to do this more if this is what people like. So please just let me know what you guys think about this. Thank you.